right, guys, we're back. It's another episode of the Fearless Pursuit of Freedom podcast, and I'm your host, Brandon Richards. And today, got a pretty high level entrepreneur here. He's a mindset coach, and I think mindset is a huge factor in life in general, but also in the business entrepreneur world. So I'd like to introduce you guys to Jarrod. How's it going, man? I appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir. Good to be here. Talk about real estate, freedom, mindset,
All
things America.
Yeah, America, hashtag America. Yeah. So I don't know. Just introduce yourself. You said you're in real estate, so give us a snippet about that. You know, how long you're in it, and then why you got out of it. I know, you discussed that before, and then now what you've been doing the past 8 years as a mindset coach.
Yeah, man. So I was in real estate for about 4 years. I probably remodeled houses my whole life outside of that, but investing specific for about 4. Bought houses nationwide. We'd buy houses for anywhere from like $5,000 to $15,000. We'd owner finance them and then season the note, and then we'd sell the note off to a note buyer after it had, 3 or 4 months payments on it. So we're usually able to double our income every year. I did that for about 4 or 5 years, and I believed in the model we were doing. It was super cool to get to create homeowners where no other model could create it. Like banks weren't able to do it, and local landlords couldn't do it, and the tenants or the people who wanted to live in those, they couldn't do it. So this model, it was awesome. It solved all those problems. It raised property values. It got houses fixed up. It made people homeowner. Everybody won. It was fantastic. I loved that about it. But after a couple of years, I just got tired of staring at spreadsheets and profit and loss statements and mortgage statements. It wasn't fun. That's it. That's what it comes down to. It wasn't fun.
Yeah.
And that was before I knew about the work that I'm doing now. So I work as a speaker and a performance coach. My clients normally double their income in the first year, and they do that by purposely working less hours. Now, I know that sounds like snake oil or clickbait or something that the National Enquirer wrote as a headline, but we use a Nobel-nominated approach that teaches them how to shift their mindset so that they're thinking at a higher level. Because when your mindset in altitude increases, you're now literally looking at things from a different perspective, and consequently, you see different opportunities, you see different solutions, your business is more efficient, and that's how they're able to double their income by working less hours. It is absolutely true that the less you work, the more you make.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to incorporate. When I first started, I tried to do everything. I was doing the mailers, I was printing them, I was signing them, I was holding stuff in. I was driving myself nuts. And then I hired my kids to fold the stuff, and I was like, that's cool. Paid them, I don't know, or 15 cents an envelope or something. And then once I got a house or two in, a buddy of mine, we kind of quote unquote partnered on a deal where he brought in his contractors and his money and his everything. And I just watched it get done and got paid at the end. And I was like, that's awesome. All right, so I need to do systems, because I saw him never being there. And he viewed the house twice. Once before once after I locked the contract in, and then actually he was only there once from what I remember. So he went to the house once, and then he just sent his people, and I'm like, that's the way this business is supposed to be ran. And so I learned from that. I started contracting out my work after that, and then in the past 6 months or so, I started getting VAs, virtual assistants, out of the Philippines to do all of my back end stuff. And it's been an absolutely lifesaver. So, awesome. And I work a lot less, which is the point where I was going with this, is not up till 2 a.m. with all this other rigmarole stuff.
Yeah, for the win, man. As a general rule, if you're doing the work, that means your business is falling behind.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing the work in that moment of time that you spent implementing or whatever, that means that you weren't building a system to support you, or you weren't investing in people to support you. So tomorrow you're going to have to do the work again.
Yep.
And this is really hard for type A driven go-getters, check things off their to-do list. Building a system feels like delayed gratification.
Yeah.
They won't see results from that for months. But if I do it right now, I can check it off my list right now.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, congratulations. You just paid yourself $10 an hour.
Yeah. And then, like you said, you'll be doing it again tomorrow.
$10 an hour tomorrow for you, baby.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's that's one of the things that took me a long time. I owned a carpet cleaning company before this, and I owner operated that thing for 4 years straight, scheduling, taking the phone calls, doing the invoices, doing all the financial, doing all the cleaning, everything. And I was forced into a situation where I had to hire somebody. I moved out of state, and I was still taking the phone calls. And then I finally hired a call service. And once the business was 100% off my mind, I was like, oh, and there'd be times where I totally forgot I had the company because everything was handled. And being forced in that situation really helped me when I moved into real estate. Is it was still extremely fearful to bring people on, but I had to wrap my mind around not only do I not have the time to scale properly, but oftentimes these people that I bring on, like these VAs, they're far more skilled and efficient at the things that I have them do. That for me would take me hours upon hours making no money, like you said, delayed gratification, and essentially it was a minimum wage job I had built for myself. And
congratulations.
Yeah. My first house, I think I made 27,000, but it took me 3 months every single day, 8 to 7 every day, and
wow.
Yeah, so 12, 14, 16-hour days for 3 months, made 27,000. I'm like, ooh, big paycheck. But then if I were to actually go back and calculate that out hourly, I think I made like 57 cents an hour. It was horrible.
Oh my God. When I started remodeling houses when I was like just out of college, and I partnered up with this guy who was in the restaurant business, and he was tired of that, and he wanted to learn the construction trade with me. And he was really good at getting deals. He was really good at closing stuff, getting us work. He was awesome. And he got us this job sheetrocking a duplex that was going up. So it was framed. We're just going to go put up the rock. And we had never done sheetrock before. Well, actually, no. He had done sheetrock with one person before. And I had never done sheetrock at that point. So I was like, gosh, I don't know what to do. I've never done this before. And he's like, oh, it's no big deal. I did it with this guy before. I totally know how to do this. And so we roll into this duplex, and I mean, just piles and piles of sheetrock. And we were totally arrogant about it. We're like, come on, we're smart people. Like, we're smart. We can hustle. We know how to do this. You just measure and cut. You just measure and cut. There's nothing else to it. Come on, there's nothing to screw up here. So we spent 2.5 weeks sheetrocking half of the duplex. We had used up all of our sheetrock plus half of the sheetrock that should have gone to the other half of the duplex. So that tells you like how bad our waste was. Our waste was. At that point, we went back to the contractor and we're like, Uncle, like, tap out, man. Yeah. We divided our hours by what we got paid, and it was $1.57 an hour.
Yeah.
So there was more to hanging sheetrock than measuring cut.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I did. I think I rocked the bathroom and the kitchen in my first house in the exact same mindset. I was like, it's freaking sheetrock. A razor one side, pop the other, cut it, slap it up. But then there's rules, like it has to be certain screws every 8 or 10 inches or something, a certain amount of screws, and has to be hung the right way. And there's got to be certain gaps here and there. And then when I finally figured that out, and I realized that I was putting them vertical when I was supposed to be doing them
horizontal. Yep.
I was like, shit, well, I can't redo it. I'm just going to tape and bed it real quick. I'm not going to hire anybody for that. So then I was like, oh, taping and bedding, it's easy. You just put the tape down, you put a little mud, and then slap it on there. Holy crap, man. It looks so easy. And same thing. Weeks later, I'm like, kitchen rocked, finally. And then I'm like, oh, well, now I got to put the cabinets together because I was too cheap to pay for them to be delivered and assembled. So I picked them up, assembled them, hung a bunch, realized I mismeasured and put the ones in the wrong places. And holy crap, I'd much rather pay somebody $900 just to go in there and hang them for me.
Get it over with. That's right.
I should have done. Yeah.
Get your time back.
It's a nightmare.
That's one of the key exercises that I take my clients through is getting clarity on the value of their time. because they usually say, well, I would outsource that if I had the money to hire somebody.
Yeah.
Or I would outsource that if I had the time to train somebody. But with just a few questions, we can get clear on what your time's worth. And for most people, like the minimum that their time is worth is about $500 an hour after they go through the exercise. And once they see that their time's worth $500 an hour, suddenly they can't afford not
to
outsource.
Yeah.
Changes everything for them.
No, that's awesome. That's still a struggle for me today. I mean, even though I have outsourced most of my business now, and I've done a couple of strategic partnerships, and but even to this day, like my next struggle is I've got to up my marketing to bring in more deals. But if I up more, then I'm looking at more houses, which kills my time. And then I'm like, well, then I got to train somebody to look at these houses properly and trust them to make bids. And so that's my next hurdle. But I'll work on it.
Yeah. Our job as a business owner is not to do. It's to build systems and build people to do. It's our job. If we're doing it, no.
Yeah. Same thing with this podcast. I'm about 3 months into it. And I think I spent 6 months, a year, just like, I'll do it. No, I won't. I'll do it. No, I got to learn audio. No, I got to learn the video. No. And then finally I was like, I'm just going to start recording crap. And then I'm going to find a VA to do the audio and video for me. And so now I just sit here, talk to like-minded folks, and then send an email to my VA, and he does all the publishing, all the editing, everything. Gone.
Awesome.
Easy.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then now I just had to spend 3 months learning audio editing. And then another 3 months video editing, because now he's doing my YouTube for me too. So
you just have to know how to get him the files.
Right. Yeah.
Sweet, man. Sweet.
So you're in real estate. You like to change communities. Then you went into the mindset performance area. You've been doing that for 8 years. What would you say? Because I was telling you beforehand, do you have a morning ritual? I assume you do.
Oh, yeah. I have things that are non-negotiable. One of them is working out. I can be sick in bed all day. Mm-hmm. I will claw my way out of bed, go to the gym, work out, come back, get back in bed. I am not skipping the workout.
Yeah, awesome.
Absolutely. The meditation, the read. I do have a practice that I go through. It's called Givers Go Far. Far is spelled PHARR. Because it just reminds you that your job as a leader is to plan and build relationship. The P stands for plan, and the R stands for relationship. But it rewires my mind, and helps me to see things at a higher level, which helps me to see more efficient and innovative solutions. Yeah. Well, what about you? What works well for you?
That's one of my struggles. That's another reason why I'm excited for this interview and to jump on your website. But like I said, I've been on and off for a year, honestly, of what I need to be doing, what I should be doing, and staying on target. Going to the gym, non-negotiable. I've got that. I've been doing that for years. Eating healthy, I've got that somewhat pat. If I go on vacation, I screw it up. But it's my morning ritual that really screws me up. And so last year, my girlfriend's a school teacher, and she actually taught at my two kids' school. So she was the one bringing them to school. So my wake up time was whenever. I got up at 6:30, 7, and it was good. And then, but we had her quit so she can help me in the company. And so now I'm the one bringing them to school. So it's forced me to wake up on time every day. But then I get on my stupid phone too often. Jump on Facebook, check my emails, what did I miss? And so although I've been pretty good at the past year, in my mind, I know I'm screwing it up big time. Mm-hmm. So in the past 3 months, roughly, I've been pretty hardcore. I get up at 6:15, and I go straight to my office. There's frequently I'm jumping on my phone too much, but I get my book and I lay it on the couch over there and I start reading. And so that's what I've been doing. What I need or want to be doing is get back into running. which I want to do in the morning. And then meditation, I've never done it, but I hear a lot of high performers doing meditations. Joe Rogan specifically, we were talking about him before. He's big into meditation. And I mean, I guess I understand the concept of meditating, just sitting there, clear mind, quiet room, and try to erase all of the problems in that moment. But I'd like to hear your thought on the meditation and how and what and why. And
yeah, a couple different meditation. I've done some stuff with like the monks, and that was just mind blowing because what they were doing was just kind of like looking at a spot on the wall. And the wall, if you stare at the wall long enough, it becomes indefinable and your eyes can't like focus.
Yep.
And the whole point of the exercise is just to watch what your mind does. And your mind goes crazy. It goes nuts.
Mind goes bonkers.
Solve a problem or create a problem or chase a rabbit or whatever. And your job is just to bring your mind back to the spot on the wall. So whenever you have a thought, oh, don't forget to, oh, what about, or oh, what if, you just kind of like watch the thought go over the bridge, but you don't follow the thought to its destination. You're just like, okay, there's another thought. I had a thought. I'm aware that I had a thought. And then you get back to nothing. That was, holy moly, that was a very rewarding practice. But just on daily practice, just day in, day out, simply tracking your breath, breathe in, breathe out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this little microsecond in between breathing in and breathing out where nothing happens. And it's just a matter of bringing your attention to that spot. And then you do it again and do it again. So like meditation, it isn't really thinking about nothing. Meditation is realizing that you're thinking about something else and then bringing it back to
the
breath. And then realize, oh crap, I've wandered again. And then you bring it back to the breath.
Dude, that's my mind all day, every day. Like I can't stay focused. Like I have just like piles and piles of notes, and I'll start on one task and I'm in it. I got my music going on the other screen. I'm doing it. And then boom, light bulb pops off the other one. So I'm like, oh crap, I don't want to forget that. I'll write it down and then I'll go start doing that. And then I totally forget the other freaking task I was doing.
Oh yeah. Hey, I can share something that'll fix that.
I would love it.
So you see in the background, I got the music, instruments. I'm classically trained. I do still play in the symphony. My town has one concert a month, so that's the one that I do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
When I was coming up in the classical world, spending 4 and 5 hours a day practicing, just going through these repetitive motions, and I mean,
that's hard. Yeah,
getting the skills up to perform at the level that I do now. The mind, the monkey mind, it wants to go chase things and oh, what if and oh, what about and what, but I can't put my instrument down and go take care of that because I lose the momentum and I have to stay in that space.
Mm-hmm.
So what I found was if I write something down, like, oh, don't forget, and I write it down, it doesn't solve the problem. And this is one of there's so many problems with to-do lists, and I just wish people would stop using them because you're far less productive with a to-do. You are way less productive. To-do lists do not help you get things done.
You're ruining my life right now.
If people are freaking out, sacrilege. Michael Hyatt, I'm sorry, but to-do lists are horrible things. So what happens when you write something down on a list, your brain still goes, what about? Writing it down doesn't fix the problem. Your brain still has this open loop. So in my case, if I was practicing and I would have that thought, oh, don't forget, be sure you pick up, what about? If I wrote it down, my brain's still going, when? Like, well, don't forget to do it. I mean, don't forget to check your list when you're done practicing.
Mm-hmm.
What if we don't have time to do it tomorrow? My brain's still wigging out.
Yeah.
So here's what you do. You just close the loop. So I've carved out 3 or 4 hours that I'm going to practice back in the day when I was coming up, in that world. And my brain has these thoughts constantly. So every thought I write it down. But here's what you do different. You close the loop by putting by when. So my brain would go, oh crap, that's right. I got to get more broccoli. Okay, so I write it down. Get broccoli. By when? Sunday, I'm going to be at the grocery store. Okay, Sunday, I'll get more broccoli. Now I've closed a loop, but my brain's at peace. It doesn't have to worry about forgetting it because it's written down. And it doesn't have to worry about it getting happening because the by when was there.
Yeah.
If you don't by when, your brain is still trying to solve that problem and you can't focus.
Ah, that's very genius, because I'm looking at my list now, and it's mostly how to get my direct mail up, and it's like scrub data in this area, and I have a list of all the things I want to scrub, but it's just an item. And if I were to say, well, today's Thursday, so I need to scrub this zip code by Friday night, and that helps me close that loop.
Thursday at 3:00, I'm going to work on scrubbing the zip code. That would close the loop.
Okay.
If you say I'm going to get it done by Friday, that's a deadline. Deadlines are great for goals. They build that urgency. For crying out loud, the most productive day you have all year is the day before you go on vacation. If we played a basketball game but took away the clock, we would lose the whole game because that clock builds the urgency. It creates the competitiveness. It gets stuff done. So I'm all for, I'm going to get this done by Friday. I'm all for that. Absolutely. You're going to find yourself more productive, more engaged, more motivated. Closing the loop would be, I'm going to work on this 2:00 on Thursday. From 2 to 3, I'm going to scrub these zip codes. If you do that, it's out of your mind and you now have a greater sense of peace.
Okay, so I'm probably going to, so the other thing I do is not only do I do paper to-do list, if I'm sitting at the computer and I'm like, oh, light bulb moment, I'll write it down, is my idea of organizing my life and my to-dos and all that stuff is I use my Google Calendar, and I'll color coordinate to items that I have to be in the house, like these podcasts that have a certain color, and then I'll have ones that where I have to be somewhere and they're a certain color. But I keep most of my to-dos in my calendar. So like you'll see today is Thursday, 2 days back, I have a list of just items, just similar stuff I got to get done, stuff I got to catch up on. So if I were to say, okay, I need to scrub this zip code, I should be putting it at a 10 a.m. tomorrow, scrub this zip code. And that helps. Because you're right. I mean, all day, every day, I'm like, oh, my freaking to-do list. Oh, God, I need to catch up to it. And it becomes overwhelming. But I'm also a giant procrastinator too. So if I put it, boom, 10 o'clock Friday morning, get it done, not only does my mind shut it off that I don't have to think about it, like you said, but it's more likely I'm going to get it done if I say 10 a.m.
So you don't worry about it until 10, but when you put that down, you have to like by when, right? So from 10 o'clock to 10:30, I'm going to scrub zip codes.
Yeah.
If you don't put the end time on it, it's the same thing as having a basketball game where they start the clock and it's like, well, y'all just let us know when you're done playing.
Yeah.
I mean, there would be no game. It's like going on vacation. Well, whenever you want to catch the flight, just come down to the airport, you know. Like, right? No.
Right, yeah.
Crap, I've got to be at the airport at 7:00. Oh, no.
Yeah.
So put the end time on it and your brain just goes into gear. It'll find a way. It's crazy.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Because every time I go on vacation, it's the day before and the day after where I'm so much more productive because I know I've got a ton of crap to get done.
Yeah.
Because I've got that time constraint there. It's funny.
Yeah, the to-do list, man, it's evil.
Evil. Okay.
Here's what happens. I don't know if this has ever happened to you. It used to happen to me all the time. So, like, speaking from experience, you wake up in the morning, and it's very clear on your heart and mind the most important thing you need to do that day. Maybe you need to make some cold calls. Maybe you need to resolve a very uncomfortable conversation. Maybe you need to do some outreach or some marketing. I don't know. It's very clear. Write a chapter in your book, something, right? But the thing is, with all the stuff that life is calling us to, it doesn't tell us how to do it. So we're like, crap, I don't know how to connect the audio for my podcast, or I don't know how to do the video for my podcast, or, I got to learn all the stuff. Life doesn't tell us how. Life just calls us to a what. So you wake up with the what, but the how isn't there. You got to figure it out. You got to grow. And so there's anxiety. So we wake up, we're totally clear. Bam. We sit down at our desk. What do? We pull out our to-do list. We pull out our to-do list because it's well-meaning. We think we're going to be organized that day. So we get our to-do list. As soon as we look at our to-do list, our mind is off course from the one thing that life was calling us to that day. We look at the to-do list and we go, okay, I got to let me clear this stuff out of the way so that I can really concentrate. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to carve 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon so I can really concentrate on this thing. I'm going to clear the stuff out of the way. So we go to work, checking stuff out, check. And then as the day goes on, more stuff crops up to steal away our time. Next thing you know, it's 4:30. You're like, oh God, I'm so tired from checking off meaningless shit that somebody else should have been doing. So tomorrow, I'm going to start first thing. Tomorrow, we look at the to-do list again, and it's over. The to-do list is filled with $10 an hour tasks that somebody else should be doing. Do not pat yourself on the back for checking off lots of those. So here's the solution. You are not allowed to look at your to-do list until after you have started working on the thing that you know life's calling you to. That's always clear.
Okay. That's exactly what I do now.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I know there's one thing that I need to get done today. Like today I had a bunch of podcasts to get done because I'm going on vacation here in a week. And then I pulled my calendar or one of my to-do lists, and I'm staring at this paper one here, and I'm like, crap. Just so much stuff. And then it bogs down my mind. And then when I jump on these podcasts, I got to turn my phone on silent. I got to turn my to-do list over upside down, and I got to concentrate on the one thing. So it's really hard.
That's the overwhelm. Like the overwhelm is there's more on the to-do list than you have time to get done.
Yep.
And so the response is, well, I just need to work harder and faster. But you keep working harder and faster, and the next day you still have more on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Working harder and faster is about as effective to clear a to-do list as driving faster on the wrong road when you're lost.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't solve a bad strategy with stubbornness. So the reason working harder and faster does not clear the to-do list, just like driving faster on the wrong road if you're lost in a new town, doesn't do that. The reason is because if you are doing the work, your business is falling behind. Whatever's on a to-do list, check, return emails, get that contract in the mail, have that consultation with whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you're doing that task, in that moment, you're not building systems to support you. In that moment, you're not building people to support you. So tomorrow, you're going to have to do the task again. The more you do the task, the more behind you get. The business owner's job is to build systems to support them and build people to support them. And this drives the type A nuts because it feels like planning is a luxury that they don't have time for. And it feels like people are a luxury they don't have time for. So they want to check things off because they get that dopamine hit. Ooh, look what I did.
Yeah.
But the more time you spend planning and investing in people, the easier tomorrow is. The more time you spend getting things done, the harder tomorrow is.
Yeah, that resonates with me significantly because not only when I look at my to-do list do I get instantly overwhelmed, and then oftentimes it'll push me into procrastination, and then that 4:35 rolls around. I'm like, crap. All right, I got a couple things done. That's cool, but now the kids are home. Man, look at that list. Man, I got to go hang out with the kids. Man, look at that list. And so, yeah, I'm learning a lot here because that's my biggest killer is too much going on, and I don't have it controlled. I don't have my life controlled. That's they take the reins back.
None of us do. It's too tempting to dive in and start doing things when we need to be planning and building systems.
Yeah. So you sent me a diagram here with a bunch of different colors and a brain. Can you explain to me the first link you sent me with the media on there? What does, because it looks sciencey.
It looks very sciencey, right?
Yes, it does.
So we use a Nobel-nominated process that teaches people how to think at a higher level.
Mm-hmm.
And the importance of that picture you're looking at, I call it the breakthrough map. It shows where your next breakthrough is in your personal business. It's as unique as you are. That's one of the reasons it's so Nobel nominated.
Right.
Impressive, right? It's crazy. It's like a fingerprint of your thinking patterns. It's nuts. And the importance of that graph that you're looking at is the same as going to the doctor. You go to the doctor doesn't say, gosh, I really have no idea what's going on. Why don't you take some of this and let me know what happens? The doctor says, look, let's go down the hall, take an MRI, and find out what's going on. So they print up the MRI, they print up the picture of what's going on, and the radiologist goes, okay, right here's the problem. Doctor goes, I know exactly how to fix that. So that's what we do. When somebody comes in and they're tired of not having enough money, they're tired of not having enough time to level up, and whatever the block is for you, it's not unique. Like, it's the same block that has always been there. Every time you're at a conference and you have an opportunity to step out of your comfort zone and level up, you tell yourself the same thing. Oh man, I just can't afford that. That looks really good. Oh man, I just don't have time for that program. It looks really good though. Yep. Oh man, I just don't have enough support, in my family to do something like that. It looks really good though. Oh man, I just don't know if I have the confidence. Whatever stops you, whatever the block is, it's the same block that has always stopped you for every opportunity before that. It's not like, unique or whatever. Any which way. So the problem with the block is you're doing everything to overcome it. You're working hard. All your strategies make sense, but your breakthrough in your business won't make sense. The thing that will get you, like my clients, to double their income by purposely working less hours, that doorway in your business, it won't look like a doorway when you first see it. If it made sense for you to walk through, you'd already be doing it.
Yep.
So what we do at the Mind Scan is we're able to print up a graph of the situation, and in 10 minutes, we see right away where that individual's next breakthrough is. And we see the blind spot that has been blocking it from their vision. So they haven't been able to see it or understand it with the way their brain is uniquely wired. That graph, like, I've seen people in tears because of what it revealed about what was possible in their business and how quickly that change could happen.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like I should know myself, and I know my body, and I know my thoughts, and I tell my kids this all the time, because when they get overwhelmed with homework, I'm like, you control your thoughts, you control your mind, and all the while I'm over here like, I need to master that myself. So, look, yeah, I need to walk in the path that I'm always treading on, that I tell them about, but
planning ahead.
Yeah. So
there are very few emergencies that happened in my life that could not have been solved by planning farther ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't plan too far ahead. It could be one of the lies I'm telling myself. I'm like, something's going to pop up. I don't want to, like vacation specifically. We know we want to go to vacation in, say, August, but I'm not going to plan it in April. I'm probably going to plan it in July. And to me, I don't know if I'm rationalizing or making it make sense to myself, but I'm like, okay, 3-4 weeks out, that's a good time to plan, because now I know what my schedule looks like next month, potentially.
Absolutely. It sounds like a great time to plan.
Yeah.
I think that works great for vacations. Very well. Yeah, man.
But as far as business, I don't know. We should talk.
It's that end time.
Yeah.
People, they make the mistake of writing down what needs to be done, and that's not the leader's job.
Yeah.
The leader's job is to build systems, not things.
Yeah. So the book Traction, I've started it, but it's so boring and monotonous.
Gino.
Yeah. I haven't finished it, but that makes you got the implementer and the innovator, right? Is that what the titles are?
I don't remember all the titles.
So like the business owner is supposed to be, the visionary. That's what it is. The visionary. The visionary is the leader, the business owner, and then they're the one that are supposed to be outsourcing it to the implementer within the company. That then goes out and either does those tasks that the owner shouldn't be stuck on doing, or they go find the people to do that. Mm-hmm. And I was just curious if you read that book, because I've started on it. I know a lot of people that have implemented that within their company and life, but haven't quite yet.
I have the book on my bookshelf. I haven't read it. Though it got pushed down the list.
Yeah.
There were some other books that I wanted to read more than that one.
Yeah. What about the 4 hour work week? Because you're saying we're by
4 hour, I've
working.
got it right there. I love the 4 hour. Great
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, that one. I've read that one. It's been a while. The one thing I couldn't convince myself to do was not respond to emails once a week, or only respond to emails once a week. My mind's like, holy crap, the world's going to crumble around me, right?
I know, right?
So that's one of the first things I do in the morning is emails. Boom. Let's check them out.
Oh. Well, hopefully, starting with the project that was on your heart and mind when you woke up will help push that email check a little farther.
I don't remember what it was now. Yeah. Well, okay. So my projects were today were because I had 3 podcast interviews today. And so that was my number one thing on my mind when I woke up this morning. So I didn't even think about my to-do list this morning because I knew I was going to be so busy doing these interviews that I couldn't think about anything else. So I was able to read more this morning than I normally do. I jumped into a new book, but so, Justin Morales.
I know the name.
The Abundance Effect. It's the book I started. I'm a chapter in or so, but that's another thing I've had to tell myself or learn was the abundance mindset. Because when I first got into real estate, it was I'm barely skating by. I'm not going to tell anybody what I just learned. And now that I am doing a little bit better, and it's probably why I've opened up a little bit and been able to do it, but I do enjoy helping people, and especially in real estate, because that's what I know now. And so, I don't know, I think I have like probably a dozen people messaging me every day, asking just little questions, and I help when I can. But now I basically hand my business model and any questions, any answers, without holding anything back to basically anybody that asks. And that was one of the things I had to overcome over the past year and a half was the abundance. And I think it all leads back to the mindset shift that I've been trying to overcome or conquer in the past, I don't know, year or so. But
that's killer, man. I think it's a great model.
Yeah.
It makes people want to work with you. They trust you more. They like what you're doing. They like what you're teaching. It's a whole lot better than pay me first and then I'll tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. We're actually, me and a buddy, we're hosting our first meetup next Wednesday. And it's basically, I was like, hey, me and Corey, we're going to go hang out at this restaurant at this time. If you want to show up, show up. And it started out as a Facebook post, and then it turned it into, I don't even know how many comments, almost 100 comments. And then I was like, oh crap! I guess I got to start an actual event. And now I've got 30 RSVPs. And now I had to call the restaurant managers, make sure we can handle it. So it's turned into this really big thing. I'm like, this is cool, actually. And so it's an opportunity for anybody with far more experience than me, or with somebody with no experience, to come on and just ask us some questions. So I think it's pretty cool.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So it'll be cool. I was just going to go grab some tacos with like a handful of people, but now it's going to turn into a big old ordeal. Well, hopefully, anyways, it'll be pretty cool though.
The taco event of the year.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll see. Or I'll tell the manager we got 30 people coming, and then 2 show up. So we'll see what happens.
When I do live events, I make people write me a check, and I tell them I'm going to cash it if they don't show up.
Yeah.
It's free to come to the event if you show up.
Right.
If you don't show up, I'm charging you.
That's cool. That'll work. I should do that so the manager isn't yelling at me. And
yeah, it's only fair for the manager. He has to be able to plan.
Yeah. And he says he was going to have to bring in make sure more employees were there that day. I'm like, oh, that's overwhelming. Hopefully people show up now.
Get serious, right?
Yeah. So where do you do your speaking things at?
Usually annual conferences, state conferences. national conferences, that kind of thing. Speak there. And then just coaching clients, business owners, folks that are tired of not having the time or money they need to grow.
Yeah.
So I teach them how to see the world through that lens that says the less you work, the more you make.
Yeah.
So that they can start to live a little bit more fulfilling life and get out of that stressful get things done race. Oh my gosh.
Well, I like that idea of working less. And I feel like I'm getting there, but as we've unraveled in the past 30 minutes, that I think I'm stumbling over my own feet daily and not accomplishing as much as I would like and feel like I should be anyways. But well, Matt, I don't want to take too much of your time. I really, really appreciate it. Is there a website or an email you want me to link here so people can reach out to you and learn more about what you do over there?
Yeah, happy to share some case studies with some of your listeners. Mindsetcall.co. And so just hop over to mindsetcall.co. I've got some case studies of what my clients are doing differently. What the mind scan revealed about them and their businesses and why that was a key to their breakthrough. So you can just follow along some of that and see what's working for them and see if those strategies make sense to you or see if they seem like a good fit for your business. But happy to share it. Mindsetcall.co.
Okay. Yeah, I'll link that below. And so this is an actual scan.
Well, not like a medical scan.
Okay. So this is like a questionnaire, like an IQ type of deal.
Oh, glad you brought that up. The mind scan is not like an assessment that you're probably familiar with. Most people think like Strength Finders or DISC or Myers-Briggs or something like
DISC,
that.
Yeah.
And those are, well, one, because they're questionnaires, they are, well, prone to self-reporting error. Duh.
Right, yeah.
You can't help but answer according to the kind of person you want to be like. Or the kind of person, you think they're asking in that question. Like your brain, it just does that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the mind scan doesn't have questions. It's not asking you to, hey, in a party, do you gravitate towards the person or the couch? It's not a questionnaire. Also, with those other tools, DISC, Myers-Briggs, granted, they're amazingly helpful for certain situations, but those are population comparisons. They're more like attitude or personality kind of outlooks. The mind scan is a scientific assessment of your values. And values are a much more robust measurement of how you view the world, how the world shows up to you, the kinds of things you experience in your life, and consequently why you tend to hit the same blocks and obstacles that you do. So with DISC or Myers-Briggs, because they're population comparisons, that would be like going to the doctor and the doctor says, oh, don't worry, you have this, but there's a 60% success rate with treating it. That's information. It's not helpful information. Helpful information would be, what side of that 60% line are you? That's what we want to know. And that's what makes the mind scan different. It's a scientific measurement of exactly how that individual is experiencing the world and where the blind spots are in their thinking patterns that have blocked their breakthrough from them.
Yeah. Okay. Every time I think about like questionnaires and surveys and things like this, like specifically my girlfriend came on to do QuickBooks because I hate looking at numbers and
right,
forms and answering questions that I don't know. And so I actually did the DISC test about a month ago, but I postponed it for like months. I'm like, I'm going to do the DISC test eventually. And when I finally got to it, I'm glad I got it done. But it was one of those things where it was just overwhelming. So that's just me, though. I hate like even just writing a contract to buy a house. I know I need to do it, but I'm like, oh, good Lord. All right, let me go get on zip forms and get this thing written up.
Thankfully, there's other ways to handle those so that you can spend your day in your sweet spot.
Yeah.
And those tasks can be handled by somebody else.
Yeah.
There's ways to do that. Even if you don't have the money to hire somebody or the time to train them, there's ways to do that.
Yeah. I'm working on, I got a lot of systems as I told you before, but not nearly enough for me to say, hey, I'm going to Bali this weekend with zero concerns. I do stress a decent amount while I'm on vacation. So it becomes an issue, but that's one thing I'm working on. So I'm so thankful for you coming on today. It's been it's definitely been an eye opener. I mean, I think I knew like I'm screwing up royally on a lot of things, like procrastination. And actually, I didn't know my to do list was screwing me up big time, but it makes a ton of sense. Um, so I guess I'm throwing this away today. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. And then I'm gonna go dig through my calendar. And what sucks is we actually, as a family, just had a family meeting 2 nights ago about how I utilize my calendar to better structure their lives, because my daughter, my oldest, is in a few advanced classes and she's becoming overwhelmed because she's forgetting to do certain assignments and stuff like that. And so I'm like, well, I'm just going to teach her what I do. But now this conversation, like, oh crap, did I just teach her the wrong thing? So I'll have to reach out to you after this interview and see how I should be coaching.
Who knows, man? Who knows what's available? We just have to look at your mind scan. Like, yeah. I have no idea. I'm the doctor. Let's go take an MRI, see what's going on.
Cool.
I don't know.
I like it. Well, man, I appreciate it. It's been super enlightening. Yeah, I'll definitely be reaching out right after this interview here, but I appreciate it. We'll link your website. They can go on there. I think they've got a short video they can watch based upon me opening up that link. So again, I appreciate it. And we'll have you on in a couple weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot. All right.